I sit through a lot of junk sometimes, and like I try to say, I watch the crap so you don't have to. Which brings me to the Netflix film, The Misadventures of Hedi and Cokeman. Okay, so this might be a very short review. The Misadventures of Hedi and Cokeman is a French movie that's based on a web series. In Paris, two dysfunctional drug dealers use family ties to try and boost their business. We have two wildly stupid main characters in Hedi and Cokeman. Our characters spend a lot of time yelling at each other and laughing obnoxiously. I mean, even other characters emulate them. It's so obnoxious. Ha! Always. So I can get into stupid humor, and when it's done well, I think it's very enjoyable. I'm not so high on myself or uppity that I can't enjoy dumbness. And there are plenty of movies that even have morons as the main characters that I fully and unashamedly love. But this was on a whole different level. Just about everything was grating to me. I understand what the overall story was going for in terms of plot, but all of the executions felt like half thoughts, not fully formed ideas. I mean, most of it felt like the scene started with, well, what if we do this? And then they tried to build a storyline from there, except didn't. For some unknown reason, Cokeman only wears a fur coat and underwear. To a wedding, walking around town, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's his gig. At about 30 minutes into this, I was honestly ready to tap out, but I decided to muscle through and give it more of a chance. But after watching another 25-ish minutes, I just had to stop. I mean, my soul was hurting from watching this. Abrasively repugnant, I think that is what best describes the characters. They're wannabe drug dealers, but are so wildly inept, they screw up everything. And like I said, they spend so much time yelling at each other and everybody else that nothing is ever really said. The supposed comedy of errors isn't funny either. They're trying to scheme and use family connections to grow their drug business, and even the family connections are still abrasive and they're unfunny. And their schemes, while terrible, are basic that feel like no thought was put into what's going on. There's very little, if any, character development, so I felt zero connection to anybody that I was seeing on screen. The shots, framing, angles, they're all frenetic and could be used for a really good effect, especially to make you off-kilter or uneasy, but because it's in the mix of just an absolute mess, it's distracting. Okay, so I do have to acknowledge that I did chuckle once during what I watched. The duo are confronted by police, and one of the officers calls Hedi Gargamel from the Smurfs, and I found it fitting and mildly amusing. I wish I could tell you how the movie ended, or if it resolved anything, or if it actually ever gained a point, but I couldn't finish it. Maybe if I had grabbed my favorite adult beverage down to about 6 fingers, I may have been able to stomach it, but I didn't want to be that impaired. So while it may not be fair to give a score to a movie I didn't finish, I think that also kind of gives you a clue on how I'd rate it. From what I saw, there's sex, no nudity, a ton of profanity, and some violence. I give The Misadventures of Hedi and Cokeman 0 out of 5 couches. If you happen to watch this and finished it, please let me know your thoughts on it. I'm really curious to know if you liked it and why. Otherwise, what's one of the worst movies you've ever seen? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.